This is our getting started guide for those of you who are looking to launch quickly. If you want to go really deep, you can take a look at the rest of our content, but this overview will capture pretty much everything you need to know before launching on Believe. All right, so who is this for exactly? This could be really for a variety of people. It could be for app developers, so maybe you're developing tools or you're building a platform, or you're trying to solve a variety of technical solutions maybe adjacent to the industry that you work in. Could be for artists and creators, so maybe you're a musician or a content creator, or an influencer launching a project of some type. In general, this is for any committed builder who is passionate about building and doing so long term on Believe. That's kind of the key portion there. I'm going to walk you through 5 steps here. Now, these really are things that shouldn't be earth-shattering, but nonetheless, these are the right questions that you should be asking yourself when you're thinking about your project in a really more of a pragmatic sort of way. So start with, test out your idea with users and trusted advisors. Again, who are you building this for? Who is the end goal that you're trying to reach? And, be mindful of that and make sure that this is going to be something that is going to be received well with whoever that may be. You also want to reach out to people in the space who are knowledgeable and have some sort of amount of influence and see if you can get some feedback and input from them. Here you can see we reached out to Ghost for his help and support through a personalized DM. So this is, again, something I highly recommend you do with the thought leaders in the space, and obviously, especially if you know them. Another thing to keep in mind, ask yourself, are you uniquely qualified to build whatever this thing is? Again, another example, Alex writes that he used Grok to write Xpost, but was pretty disappointed with how limited it was. So this is a strong way to position yourself that you're building the thing that you wish that you had. Next step here is going to be focusing on building your brand. And this doesn't have to be all that you might be thinking right now. It really just starts with something as simple as having professionally designed logos and banners and that sort of thing ready to go. Have it stored all in one place. It's easy for you to access and distribute to whoever may need it in the future. It is also really important that, for this thing, you're going to be stuck with it potentially for a while. So really go ahead and do the extra step and hire a designer. Make sure that it looks nice. Make sure that you're really happy with it. Because again, this is going to be something that everyone's going to see. It's the first thing that a lot of people will see. So makes sense to me. So moving on to engaging your audience. This is going to be different depending on what the type of thing is you're building. If you're, a musician, that's going to be way different than maybe if you're an app developer. So make sure that your messaging is totally consistent across whatever platforms you're choosing to use. What person or group of people are you trying to reach? Who are you? What's your personality? Be true to whatever that is, and it's only going to lead to a more successful outcome. Put forward a clear value proposition in your bio and potentially in your X Spaces if you're hosting one of those. Again, very simple thing, but make sure that you boil it down so that when people see your profiles and they see what it is you're doing, it's all very clear and almost immediate as possible. Moving to step 3 now. Prepare to launch. And this is the thing, of course, we're all excited about this part, but there's a couple things that really come along with that are fundamental if you think about it. But first of which being, if you're an app, make sure that your website is ready to handle the web traffic. Make sure it's not going to crash on people when they go there to check it out, of course. Make sure that the app works. Make sure there's not any major bugs. Do your testing, have people looking at this beforehand, and make sure that you're comfortable with what's going to get put out there. If you're an artist or, creator, on the other hand, think about and consider having something like Collabland set up and ready to go. That way you can kind of create value and give value to the token holders right away. As far as notifying your audience, make sure you have some content written out and planned in advance. Maybe have like the first week's worth of posts ready to go, have a launch post ready to go. Make sure, run it by a few other people and it sounds good, that it's going to get people excited. So again, very rudimentary thing. Maybe even consider planning posts out further than that if you can. And hopefully by this point, you also have built up a strong network of supporters. Doesn't have to be a lot, but people who genuinely care. That's the thing you're going to want, is not so much about numbers, but just that the people who are there really care about it and that they're going to be able to help you amplify attention coming in to look at your project and get people to care about it. Video, obviously, I mean, I don't think anyone needs to be told this, but video goes a long way. You can set up something to talk about your launch and, just have sort of a short description. Doesn't have to be long, but just something to people connect with, know that you're a real person and hear that this is something you care about. Moving to step 4 now, and this is all about execution on launch day. So there's a handful of, relatively small things, but nonetheless extremely important, especially if you've never done or launched a token before. Deploy time. This should be between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Thursday. Those are the best days. Small thing, but it's a contributing factor that can help you out. Then you're going to want to update Deck Screener, which maybe you've never even heard of that before, but it's really important. All the profile pictures and banners and stuff that you would have had ready to go in step 2, those now come into play here. You'll put those on the Deck Screener page. You're also going to have links to your X account, your Telegram if you choose to set one of those up as well, and of course your website. X is a really key platform in launching your token and launching your project. It's very popular for this thing nowadays. If you can manage it, you should go ahead and set up an X Spaces within about an hour of your launch. Again, this is very easy to do to add credibility and let people know, again, there's a real person here. This is like my project, and it will go a long ways for you. Over the course of the next day, make sure that you're engaging continuously. You're going to get maybe a lot of people talking to you, maybe asking questions if it's an app, and you're going to want to be ready to answer that and be on top of things. It's going to be extremely critical within that time period. Let's talk about the final step now. So sustaining momentum. On your X account, make sure you're posting daily updates with some visual evidence. If you're building an app, show people what feature or what the thing is you're working on that day. This doesn't have to take a lot of effort. Just, put yourself out there, be straightforward in what it is you're working on, and people will connect with that. Site or user growth, those are obviously really positive things to share, and people will care about that. Maybe a new feature if you added something recently, especially if it's something that one or a handful of people may have requested. As you're moving along, make sure that you do dedicate some time, like at least once a week, to do some dedicated AMAs, where people are actively asking you questions and you're really sitting there answering as much of it as you can, trying to give the best feedback possible. Really make sure you are putting forth that effort to build genuine community value. The more you show that you're passionate about something and that you care, it's only going to propel you that much further. You also want to consider and build a plan for your token usage. Think about the utility. Maybe something special for founders if they were in the project and supporting you early. Maybe there's new features or just special content that's really exclusive to them that they can have access to. For creators, it's pretty easy. You can use Collabland to gate content and give your fans access to exclusive releases or just the ability to communicate with you more regularly. It really makes things feel personal, and that's great. All right, I made it to the end here, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up with one last thing, and that's just make sure that you're looking at some key metrics for your project. You obviously want to see new token holders. You want to see some form of community growth and user adoption, and these kind of things sort of go no matter what type of project or creator that you might be. If you get stuck or have questions, dig into the rest of the guide. There's plenty more content that covers all this in more detail for you. So thanks for checking this out, and I hope that it was helpful.